Well, good morning. Another wonderful opportunity this morning to declare that Jesus is Lord. You know, you will never arise above your confession. In other words, your confession sets up the standards by which you live. So if every single day and every single time you profess Jesus is Lord, guess what? You will always live as Jesus is Lord. Why? Because your confession has set the standard for you. So therefore, you need to learn every single day to confess who you are, confess who Jesus is, and confess what He has done for you. And that way, you will set yourself to be able to live that way. Today, I'd like to encourage you from the book of Luke, chapter number 22. Luke chapter number 22 and verses 40 and verses 46. Luke chapter 22, verses 40 and verses 46. And it says this, in verses 40, when he came to the place, he said to them, pray that you may not enter into temptation. In verses 46, he told them again, then he said to them, why do you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Now you've got to understand that this was when Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane. He had gone with his disciples and he had gone there to pray because he had told them that he's at the point of feeling that he's going to die. He's about to be betrayed just a few hours before he's betrayed. But before being betrayed, his spirit was disturbed, and therefore he came with his disciples, and the first thing he told them, pray that you do not enter into temptation. Then again, he came later on, he found them asleep and said, arise from your sleep, pray so that you do not enter into temptation. You've got to understand that therefore, temptation is avoidable. You can avoid temptation. And Jesus was telling his disciples, you need to pray so that you do not enter into it, because temptation is simply a trap that is going to trap you. But now we can say this then, if temptation is a trap that is going to trap you, and Jesus is saying that you need to pray so that you do not enter into temptation. We can simply say this: when you begin to pray, then your spirit becomes alive and your spirit becomes alert. And when you're alert spiritually, guess what? The things that are going to tempt you, you'll be able to overcome them, because temptation is of the flesh. The Bible says that if anyone is tempted, they are tempted because of their own sinful or fleshly desires. Whatever they are enticed to do, you like to do it, that's why you fall for it. But when you begin to pray, then what's happening is your spirit is becoming alert and your spirit is becoming sensitive, so that whatever things your flesh would like to fall into, they will not be able to fall into them. Why? Because your spirit is strong enough to cause you to rise above that trap that is being set for you. And Jesus was reminding his disciples, you need to pray so that you do not fall into temptation. How do you pray? You pray that your eyes of understanding be open. You pray that your spirit be strong so that you can be able to avoid every temptation that comes your way. Temptations are avoidable if you will stay spiritually alert through prayer. And so here Jesus was encouraging his disciples. Now you've got to understand that when you're tempted because your flesh wants something to satisfy it. For example, if somebody does something wrong to you, you are tempted to get back at them either with your words or either hitting them back. If somebody honks at you and crosses you when you're driving on the streets, you are tempted to actually speed up and do something. That is a temptation. But if you're going to stay up spiritually, alert, spiritually, pray so that you not enter into temptation, when those kind of situations arise, guess what? You will not fall into it, because once you fall into it, guess what? You have given yourself an opportunity to fall into a trap that was not meant to trap you, but was meant for you to overcome it. Therefore, Jesus is encouraging you today, pray so that you not fall into temptation. Every temptation is avoidable if you'll stay alert spiritually. And therefore, I'd like to encourage you today, stay alert, pray always without ceasing. Always keep your spirit sensitive enough so that whenever any kind of temptation comes that your flesh wants to go after it, you are like, no, I have seen that trap and I'm not going for it. If you'll stay up alert spiritually, you will never fall into temptation. It is possible for you to avoid it because God has made a way of escape. Because you are alert spiritually, you'll avoid every temptation. So you remember that you can avoid it. Don't fall into it. So you stay blessed and have a wonderful day.